What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I'm back with some more Age of Mythology. The Titans action spawning in the top of the map in the blue color. That's not blue. That's red. Spawning in the top of the map in the red color, playing as Hades. His name is Nullus. Nullus the Great, Nullus the Wise, Nullus the rank 1 on the Voobly ladder. Whether or not it means anything, that is up to your own personal judgment. The ladder and tournament play are two separate things, especially now. But let me introduce the other player first, and then we'll get back to this conversation because I think it's an interesting conversation to have. We've got Thor's Horsehead spawning over here. If you don't know who that is, it's Shadowfaxx. Shadowfaxx playing as the blue Thor color. Playing as the blue Thor player. That makes more sense. So, why is the rating on the Voobly ladder and the potential rating of players on a tournament different? Well, I think the first obvious reason is the tournaments, they have a different rule set. There are certain things that aren't allowed. There are certain things that are forced in tournaments. But even if we were to host a tournament in the environment that is the Voobly ladder, which is random map, pick whatever god you want, even if this was the case, the results in the tournament would still differ from on the ladder. That is my contention. I believe everyone plays differently in tournaments, and I think that just because you're winning games on the ladder doesn't mean you would beat a player in the tournament. I think everyone is putting themselves in different headspaces and trying different things on the ladder. People are doing stuff like limit testing strategies. People are trying XYZ against YZX. And it's just a different game. When you jump into a tournament, everyone's trying their hardest to win. You don't get random strategies anymore. You don't get people like trying to limit test on you or going for weird stuff. They just do the best thing. They do the best thing that they think is possible for their civilization. They play as hard as they possibly can. So it's very different. But not to take anything away from Nullus. Top 1 on the leaderboard. Won the most recent tournament, Pandora's Box. He's just the best player at the moment. That's just all it is. All right. We'll see how this game is going to be shaping up here. It's a really, really weird map here. We've got Ghost Lake. It's a double spawn of Hunt. Ghost Lake here, which technically means, as we haven't actually seen that, I don't think he's found it. He's missed his hunt. No, he hasn't. He sees it. 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 No worries. But this map here on Ghost Lake, oh god, this is as nightmare as it gets for Shadowfaxx in this matchup. He's got Hunt on 2 separate sides of the Ghost Lake, which is already bad enough for Norse because you have to send your Ox Guard over and all your villagers over to 1. But he's also got a forward gold mine on low Hunt Ghost Lake, so he can't just drop a town center and enjoy this game. He has to build units. He has to build units against the Hades player here who really doesn't need to. So we'll see what Nullus is going to be doing. Nullus hasn't advanced just yet. He's taking his time in this classical age because he knows that he can just retreat off the Hunt. Say like a 4-minute, 20-second Thor advance comes with like 2-3 Herser. He can just retreat off this Hunt. He's still grabbing Hunt over here. No problems. Retreat back into his base. Jump onto the berries. Get his heroes out. Absolutely no worries here. As Freya is coming through. It's coming through very, very fast. And look at this.
Yeah.
Look at the long trek. There are polar bears in the middle here, and I think that Shadowfaxx is going to be kicking himself for not eating those in the middle of the map. They're really important, especially for Thor, who's got pig sticker. It's a lot of food here, and it would have really, It would have really allowed his classical age, his earlier classical age here, to function a lot better than otherwise. As we do see the Herser coming in, and Nullus is respecting this so much. As you do see the Skrailing coming in onto this side, a storehouse coming down. We do see the forest fire getting dropped over here. One villager looks like it will be getting picked off. Nice play here for Shadowfaxx. Beautiful play there for Shadowfaxx, managing to pick off one villager there. Now, you do have to remember, in the grand scheme of things, Nullus has gone up to the second age, maybe a minute and a half later than Shadowfaxx. And what that means is that Nullus is technically in front in resources by roughly, well, a minute and a half, roughly 90 resources. So it's going to take about 90 seconds for that one villager kill that Shadowfaxx has hit to actually see an economic advantage, if that makes any sense. So he will be in front at about 6 minutes-ish, 6 minutes 30-ish into the game. From all of that stuff, just in terms of just how that all balances itself out. As we do see a military academy coming down for Nullus, and Shadowfaxx going to be enjoying the remainder of these caribou over here as well. He does have some berries out on this position. We do see walls coming up over here. Shadowfaxx trying to play nice and safe over here. As the raiding cavalry starting to come into this position. Do we have sentinels down just yet? No sentinels just yet, but the pesky Chiron coming out into this map. Got to be careful. He's one of the most obnoxious classical age units in the game. 5.5 speed, centaur, which has got tons of HP and decent armor for a classical age unit. This is one of the most obnoxious units in the game. I'm gonna claim it here. You guys can think differently if you like, but I'm gonna go ahead and say that Chiron is the best classical age unit in the game, bar none. Even the Immortal isn't as good as Chiron. What do you guys reckon? You're going to have a complete riot now that I've said that. As the raiding cavalry coming through, trying to snipe down that Ajax. They're getting a little bit of damage done. Really, really nice chip damage getting done here by... Shadowfaxx, as the hero is getting lower and lower on their HP. Nullus, on the other hand, is just taking it nice and slow, reducing units. He's got double archery range in his base, making hoplites and everything else. He's cast the sentinels down. He's got walls over on this location. Really has to be careful not to finish this snowy pine, because that will be opening this location up. And he does recognize that. Nice play from Nullus, recognizing not to open this location up. One way that you can kind of defend against this is you can drop a, not defend or prepare against this, is you can actually drop a wooden wall on that location there to do all of that stuff. As the walls getting dropped over on this position here, and look at this, we're seeing farms already getting dropped here. This is actually something that I kind of disagree with from Shadowfaxx. He's got plenty of goat here, and he's got these berries. What would be better is no farms against the kind of classical age push that is coming for himself right here. Get himself towers, eat his goats, go heroic age, and then put everyone onto wood and gold, and go for a mass dwarf strat, make Huskull, and maybe build some farms a little bit later. Build a market, buy your food if you need your if you want to get upgrades. But I feel like that would be the better idea. He's only got the one farm, so. But he could have had watchtowers at this point, I would say, without the armory going down. But we'll see if it's gonna if Nullus is gonna be able to punish him, as the raiding cavalry are trying to spot straggler units over here. That's a lot of units right there, and they can speed walk into the army here. So too close here. So the watchtowers do come down for Shadowfaxx here, and that's gonna be kind of enough to dissuade, maybe not, dissuade for just a little bit. Nullus from coming in here, as Shadowfaxx is going to be able to advance to the heroic age here, and he's in a really good position moving forward here in this game to cause a lot of grief to Nullus, who's 75 population. He too is throwing up the one farm as well. What's this one farm meta that I'm not aware of? Just build one farm and that's it? He doesn't have plow, he just gets just one farm. That's all the top players are doing it nowadays. If you're not building one farm, then you're just not hip. That's I think that's what they're saying with that shenanigans going on. As Skadi is now up, the unit's still pushing in here. And I bet you right now Shadowfaxx was wishing he held on to his dwarven gold mine in the early stages of this game. I'm sorry. I'll stop.
Yo.
As the ox cart kind of getting out of position, you got to be a little bit careful there.
Yo.
As Nullus is trying to just continue pushing in here and sniping a dwarf, sniping anything here is kind of a good usage of the units. As the raiding cavalry are going to be moving through here, and look at this, he can speed walk back into position here, get his hoplites through as the army's pushing in. The question is here, does Shadowfaxx, is it worth it to just drop Frost down and try and take this fight on and drop a hill fort down somewhere? But here's the other thing. The secondary gold mine is so far away from the main base here for Shadowfaxx. He's trying to pump out units. He's getting himself the throw and axeman, getting himself everything he needs in here. Does he have any armory upgrades here? He doesn't. Ew, he does have a shield upgrades there. Nullus, on the other hand, farms coming down, going full population, full send here, as one dwarf does end up getting sniped. Good play there from Nullus. He's going to continue to put pressure on there as units hanging around on this position. Ever so slightly coming back in, continue to try to put pressure on. Now we've got medium raiders through for Shadowfaxx. He's 95 of 105 population. Personally, I don't see any point in taking this fight, but he's going to be moving forward and going for it at this point here. There is still restoration remaining. The raiding cavalry getting onto the back of this army here nicely. Frost does end up getting dropped. The reason why I say that this type of fight doesn't make any sense is because Shadowfaxx can just move his dwarves over here, drop a hill fort while these units are kind of on this side of the map. Could have been a nice, clean way to play here, but he will be getting good value out of this army over here as the units starting to move over onto this gold mine. But we do have a Pegasus already up there for Nullus. Nullus at this point still not going to the next stage, pumping out units. Even if he loses this army, he's still going to get replaced. This army's still going to get replaced by about 5, 6 Hades Shades. So that's not that big of a... I mean, obviously losing an army is not that big. It is a big deal, but it's not that big of a deal, and there is still restoration remaining here. So we'll see how Nullus is going... If Nullus is going to be able to make some sort of a comeback in this game after this brutal amount of damage comes through from the Frost. As Shadowfaxx trying to get in front with the raiding cavalry, trying to prevent these units from retreating away. As he gets in onto these Toxotes here, gets right around them. And he's going to start taking those Toxotes down really, really fast here. Nullus is in a very, very difficult position as the army over here grabbing this gold. But while this is going on, Nullus is like, well, you didn't defend your gold mine. Let's go after that one. And he's going to get a little bit of return fire in this game as Nullus here pulling back into his main base in a lot of trouble here. As Shadowfaxx is not paid attention, he's going to start losing villages as the ox cart getting taken down. We do see Winter Harvest coming in. Good farm starting to come through. There's the restoration in for Nullus, as well as the army of Shadowfaxx has to retreat back. He's at 106 population. Nullus is at 91 population. I would have thought he could just turn around and take this fight. He's got himself... Yes, he can. He does decide to do so. Turns around, picks off 1 or 2 hoplites, trying to push in, but we are still seeing these units getting very aggressive on this position, but there will be another ox cart coming over to help out after that does go down as the raiding cavalry come through to snipe down those Toxotes. The Hades Shade still remaining will get sniped down, as well as Shadowfaxx not really holding in this position. As Nullus is swinging around there, he's got himself a decent amount of farms in his main base, so his food economy should be pushing pretty nicely here. Shadowfaxx moving around here trying to defend this. These Toxotes are so absurdly strong here. Really the only counter for Norse against the Hades archers is the Huskar. We aren't seeing any hill forts coming down here for Shadowfaxx just yet. As Nullus swings around the top side of the map. Even just like one throwing axeman coming over here and dropping that hill fort would have been a great idea. He's still not going for it just yet. He could get himself a town center as well relatively soon. Or he could just stay one town center and rush Mythic Age through tier here. Drop a Fimble Winter, wouldn't go astray. As you do see the raiding cavalry getting onto the back of these Toxotes here. Nice surround yet again by Shadowfaxx as he's able to take this fight very, very nicely. He's got so many throwing axemen. He does have himself bronze shields as well. That is actually I guess that's another counter as he gets himself, or another response to Toxotes. He's just throwing Axeman with mass armor upgrades as more units pushing in onto this position here for Nullus, and Shadowfaxx just cannot hold on there as he is really struggling to produce units here. He's only got the 3, well, he's got 4 military buildings plus the temple producing those frost giants, but he just doesn't quite have the resources here. Nullus, on the other hand, 98 population, 150, well, 98 population with 500 gold in the bank, 600 gold in the bank coming in very shortly as well, as the frost giants starting to come out here. But Shadowfaxx really needs raiding cavalry here. Raiding cavalry would be huge, or alternatively, obviously, Huskal wouldn't go astray either. As Shadowfaxx pulls back into his main base here. How many resources in the back? He really doesn't have that many resources here. So while more longhouses wouldn't go astray, I'm not sure it would be allowing him to produce that many more units here in this game. So he's up to 93 population here. Nullus sneaking around here with his units, trying to snipe down everything he possibly can. There's more frost giants coming through here. The Ajax getting some good damage done as units are getting frozen in place here. These frost giants just do so much damage with their special ability. It really like minimizes the population your opponent has. If you've got a frost giant, if you've got 3 frost giants, they use 3 frost breaths. That's like 6 population gone immediately, and it can't be reproduced immediately because the unit just stays there doing nothing for 20 seconds. As Shadowfaxx still trying to push through here. He's sitting at 86 population. He's not able to hold here just yet as the villagers getting pulled off of the gold mine here. We did see frost giants of Thrym coming through, getting that rhyme upgrade. Now let's make its Pegasus here. An interesting decision. Not a wise decision, but a decision nonetheless. Pegasus are kind of annoying. They are kind of annoying. Oh dear. Oh dear. I can already see what's going to happen here. As Nullus moves his Pegasus into position. This is 140%. 140 HP of pure annoyance. If I move over onto Shadowfaxx's perspective here, with these, you have to be so absolute. You have to be so specific with these throwing axemen to win these, to not waste DPS there. And Nullus is really causing some issues here. As I mean, what you can do to play around the Pegasus is not that hard. Is you just make sure you focus fire your throwing axemen. You just make sure you're controlling them as best as you can, and he is doing that nicely here. There's a raiding cavalry coming around onto the back of this position here to try and put some good amounts of damage in. Yet again, hitting those Pegasus, tanking so much HP. They do cost 50 food, 2 favor, so it's not like they're free. They do cost 2 population, so it's not like they are sitting there like kind of not taking up DPS, but we will be seeing some good decisions here from Shadowfaxx going after the Ajax there to help his Frost Giant stay alive. But I'm still waiting for that one hill fort and Huskal to come out here. Shadowfaxx is throwing axemen, still kind of getting distracted here by Nullus's Pegasus in this game. As the Ajax gets sniped down here, turning around, we'd see mostly Toxotes remaining here for Nullus, as Nullus has got so many military buildings sticking in this classical age. Non-stop, 115 of 115 population. His economy is basically 60 villages at this point. So he's got like 60 population of army, 60 population of villages, and that's it. As he's continuing to take these fights, trading 1 for 1 here. And is Shadowfaxx still building villages? Kind of. He's kind of not able to afford villages, but he's not really building them consistently here. You can see kind of the difference in economy here is 13, 16, 19 compared to Nullus is 21, 17, 21. So it's a slight advantage for Nullus at this point. Shadowfaxx still trying to make this work. He moves forward with those throwing axemen, but they're still getting distracted here. And here's another thing: if you have to focus fire with throwing axemen, what ends up happening? And it looks like the Pegasus also kind of dodges axes. But what ends up happening is you start overkilling units. Where if your axemen target the, if your axemen actually just kind of target whatever, chances are you don't overkill units so much. So your DPS stays really high normally. As you can see, look, if he shoots this hoplite again with all of his thrown axemen, it's going to be, while it should be 19 times 5 DPS, it ends up being like 20 DPS for that one attack or whatever it is. I mean, it depends on what the actual animation rate is, but Shadowfaxx been finally throwing up that hill fort to try and grab this gold mine. This one might be tough to actually secure here. As Shadowfaxx here, he's still getting all of his units out. He's not training out of this that longhouse just yet, which is a bit of a mistake there. He needs to be making more raiding cavalry. You'd have to be expecting as the hill fort does get denied. This gold mine is about to be expired here. As Nullus here is going Aphrodite. He's getting himself his second town center. He's managed to hold on after all is said and done. Shadowfaxx pulls back into his main base here. Another longhouse coming down. He's got plenty of resources throwing up the hill fort over here, but this gold mine is basically gone. It's basically gone here. So villagers retreating. Now there is a gold mine in the top left of the map which Shadowfaxx and Nullus do not know about. So that could be a huge place to go as Curse coming through, or Aphrodite coming through, Curse being available. Look at all those villager kills. He picked up 5 villagers with Curse there and 4 army there as well as the villagers running around the mountain here. As Nullus has now got the higher ground. It's over, Anakin! I've got the high ground! Don't do it! I don't know what I'm doing here. Shadowfaxx now trying to force this gold mine here. Is at 100 population, 75 favor in the bank. Sometimes in these positions where you feel like you have to go for the gold mine, you have to remember you're in the heroic age. Look at this, 70 gold per wood. Shadowfaxx could have jumped onto this wood line over here, dropped to market, and sold wood for a little bit, got back to full population, and potentially continued here in this game. But he's forced this gold mine, lost tons of villagers by doing it. Nullus is on 2 town centers now. He's getting Hypaspis out, I'm sure, or if he's not getting Hypaspis out, he may be getting them out soon. He's managed to deny the hill fort. Shadowfaxx in a really, really difficult position. The Oxguard, or the gold gathering operation over there, will be getting spotted. The Nemean Lion coming in here, and Shadowfaxx ends up tapping out. GG. Well played by Nullus. He wins with 200 score less than Shadowfaxx in this game, utilizing the Pegasus to make those thrown axemen significantly less strong in this game. There is an upgrade which you can get to make this less of an issue in the barracks here, called Axe of a Muspel, I believe, which is right here, and Shadowfaxx has gotten it. Can kill off Pegasus flying units much, much quicker. However, the obvious answer to this situation that Shadowfaxx was in was one unit coming over to this gold mine while he was over here doing all this stuff, just building one hill fort. Just one hill fort. One hill fort, making Huskal in this matchup, in this situation, would have been lights out for Nullus being able to continue winning these fights. One Huskal training from one hill fort is one Huskal every 9 seconds. Give it 1 minute and you've got yourself 6 Huskal, and they're able to kill an exponential amount of Toxotes. If you guys enjoyed this game, please consider hitting the follow on the Twitch. If you're on the YouTube, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys in the next game.